Okay, hang on. Let me just triple check. Loy is gonna jump on as well because this is like his material that I'm gonna be talking about. And I feel like genuinely, okay, so let me back up for Holly. Basically, what people have been struggling with is just some conversations, like how to have conversations, how to address certain things, how to talk to people. And really, it's the concept of sales. And I've talked about this on my Instagram story, but honestly, the minute that I started to understand sales and how to get in someone else's brain is when everything changed for me. Everything. Because what I've learned is that sales is just psychology with enthusiasm. Being enthusiastic and because here, actually, let me just go ahead and share this. Because honestly, 90% of selling something is your enthusiasm. Oops. Can y'all see where it says specific objections? Is that the PowerPoint y'all are seeing? Yeah, okay, cool. So 90% of sales really is enthusiasm, which just blows my mind. And once I've started to like kind of not force myself, but train myself. I think that's a better way of saying it. Train myself to be enthusiastic. It's become natural for me. But before we kind of jump into everything, I want to talk about the Instagram stuff right now. So Kaylin commented, she was like, hey, sometimes I get like a bunch of likes and then people like unlike my stuff, or I'm getting a bunch of followers and then I all of a sudden don't get followers or like whatever. It's super annoying. Like I can't focus on likes or followers because I get so stressed out about it. And it's nothing that I can control. So why would I stress out about it? But, oh, hang on. Let me make sure Alex just texted me. Okay, that's fine. So what's happening is people pay apps to like photos and follow people and then go back and unlike and unfollow, because usually like if someone different were to follow you or like your photo, maybe you click their profile and maybe you follow them. And so their hope is that you follow them, and then once you follow them, they're gonna unfollow you. It's like a generated app. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. Whenever I do sponsored posts, I haven't done one in a long time. I used to do it on Facebook a lot, but I've really kind of switched over to Instagram. Sorry, I don't know what that was. But whenever I had sponsored posts, they would go sponsored on Instagram too, and that would happen a lot. So I would get like 300 likes, and then the next day I would have 100. Like they would be that drastic. So just know that it's just like fake stuff. It's annoying. Don't pay attention to it. We just want genuine people, genuine hearts following us, and that's the most important thing. I would rather have 10 awesome people behind me than a million people who don't give a crap about what I have to say. So don't stress about that, okay? That's just, anyway. Okay, let's get back to the basics. I don't know what that red line is, and I don't know how to make it go away. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's psychology with enthusiasm, and we are all about leading them through the steps of buying, okay? We're taking them from the beginning all the way to the end. And I think what's the most important part is that we are finding out more about them the entire way through. All we want to do is talk about them and learn about them and what they need. I think that it can be really easy to tell everybody what Shakeology and Beachbody and this program has done for you, when in all honesty, nobody cares. Like, people want to know what's in it for me. My dad has always told me that growing up, like even through like interviewing for jobs or like whatever, he's like, hey, what's in it for them? Why should they hire you? What's in it for them to be your friend? What's in it for them for you to be on the cheerleading team? Like, you need to make yourself valuable so that you can be a benefit to them. So that needs to be a question that's always in your head. Like, okay, what is going to benefit them? So enthusiasm, it cannot be put on falsely, where you can what's the word I'm looking for? You can you can fake it till you make it. You can tell when someone's faking it, but once you make it, once you reach over that hump and you're like, no, I'm actually like genuine, enthusiastic, that's when it becomes real, and that's when things take a turn. 90% of sales is enthusiasm, 10% is product knowledge. That's it, 10%. Being passionate about what you do and believing in what you do is 90% of the game. Knowledge is huge. The more knowledge that you have and the more belief that you have, the more enthusiasm you're going to have. The minute that I started to do research on Shakeology and I really grasped what it actually was, you better believe my fire got lit under my butt so quickly. And I can sit here and say that everyone that I love and care about is on Shakeology because that's how much I believe in it. Enthusiasm builds with action. So we talked about this in the Glimpse group, but with each act, your enthusiasm is going to build. With each pound that you lose, your enthusiasm builds over your fitness plan. Which with each sale that you make, your enthusiasm is going to build on your business. I've definitely experienced that. Okay, so what I'm about to share right now, let me just text my dad and make sure that he's getting on because he's going to answer some questions.
Macy, I'm here.
Oh, hey, okay. Sorry, I didn't see your name. Awesome. Okay, intention. So I'm going to go, and Dad, I really want you to stop me. I
can't see your screen right now. Does anybody else?
Can y'all see it? Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. So, Dad, I want you to stop me as you have something to say, okay? Okay, so we're going to go through like the basics. This is like, the scratching the surface, but that's really all I want to do today. I've gotten multiple emails and texts, and I've seen Facebook posts saying, hey, Macy, I've gotten applications from random people, which is like the most exciting feeling. When you start to get applications from strangers from Instagram, you're like, yes, this is working. I'm so excited. And so now is the time that you need to hear these steps so that you can implement them tonight or tomorrow morning to sign up for the program. So attention. How are you going to get somebody's attention? So we are social media based for the most part. So I'm thinking social media, some ways to get some attention. A transformation photo is huge. That gets someone's attention big time. Or just having, like for me, I have my testimonial highlights on my Instagram. I got a couple emails today that said, hey, I was really on the fence about everything, but I went through your testimonials and I'm in. Like that's all that it needed. I know Alex, she's not on this call, but she's posted a transformation photo of just her face. Like her face has thinned out so much, and that created a lot of traction. Your Instagram story, guys, people are on Instagram for Instagram stories. I don't know about you, but I scroll for like 1 second, but I stay on Instagram longer to go through stories. That gets people's attention. When you're in conversation, connecting on something in common. Austin was just telling me that he met a client that loves Costa Rica. Or a potential client. He said, oh, I've been to Costa Rica on a mission trip. Boom, they connected, that got his attention, and that started their relationship off really well. Look good. As vain and as shallow as that may seem, it actually holds it holds a big weight, I feel like. I'm not talking about your body, okay? I'm talking about, like, do your makeup. Try to make your hair look okay. Be in, like, cute outfits when you're out in public. I mean, for the most part, if you're going to somewhere and to see somebody, like, look cute, look good, look vibrant, look bright, have energy on social media. The minute you get on Instagram stories and start complaining and start having a monotone and start acting like your life is just the worst thing ever because you're just got so much going on, people don't vibe with that. Don't complain on Instagram. Be genuine, be real. I think there's a difference between being real and not complaining, like being honest and while also being positive at the same time. I like to play a game. When I'm going to mute everybody just so I'm not like listening. Sorry. I play a game with myself when I talk to somebody. I'm like, okay, how long can I go without talking about myself? Like, how long can I continue to ask questions to the other person and see how much info I can get out of them? Because they're going to walk away and they're going to say, dang, I really liked that girl. And it's because they talked about themselves the whole time. People love to talk about themselves, and they won't even realize that they're doing it because they just love it so much. And they love you because you're allowing them to do that. Smile, give compliments, make compliments specific. For us, Instagram, like, I think it's important to comment and say, oh my gosh, girl, you look so beautiful. Or, hey, that's such a cute outfit, or whatever. But it needs to be more of a sincere comment. Like, I get like spam, not spam, but the accounts that want me to follow them. There's just like great content. Instead of reading my post, seeing the question that I asked, and answering the question. That's a compliment in itself, because it's like, hey, I took a minute to read your post and I sat there and I answered it. That is going to get my attention. Make people feel important, and also telling a story. People remember everything when you tell a story. Those are huge ways to get attention from people. Okay, now, once you have their attention, once you're in a conversation, and maybe, you know, we always say, just to get in the inbox is a really big deal, to get in the Instagram DMs, because then you can start a conversation and learn about the person. A lot of times I get a message that says, oh my gosh, I wish I could eat like you. I really struggle staying on track. Guess what my first response is to them? It's this right here. If you could learn a sustainable way of eating, that's something you'd be interested in, wouldn't it? Okay, let's think about this. They told me their need is they need a sustainable way of eating. They are like this in their eating. That's what they need. And so instead of saying, oh my gosh, let me tell you what this program has done for me, let me tell you how it's helped me, let me tell you how I feel, I'm saying, if you could learn a sustainable way of eating, that's the need they have. They need to learn how to eat. That's something you'd be interested in, wouldn't it? Their answer is going to be yes. You want people to say yes, yes, yes. And you'll see there's going to be multiple questions that I'm going to talk about. And each time, the person's answer is inevitably going to be yes. And they're going to get in a habit of saying yes, and that's going to make a difference. Gosh, I wish I had the energy that you had, Macy. What are you doing? Or maybe I got a message that says, oh, I wish I could get up that early, or something. And maybe I said something like this: if you could have a superfood shake that would give you all the nutrients you need, helping you with your sustained energy, you would want to know more about that, wouldn't you? The question that the comment that they gave me was that they wish they could wake up early like me, because they don't have energy, they don't feel good. So instead of me telling her that I feel so good and why I feel so good, I'm asking if you could have a product that would help you do that. You would want to know more, wouldn't you? I'm not asking if they would want to buy it. I'm asking if they would want to know more about it. Oh my gosh, I wish I could work out every single day. I just don't have time. My kids are all over the place. They practice all the time. If you had a tool that you could use to supplement with your gym workouts, or it could be your only source of workouts from home, that's something that would be important to you, isn't it? Or wouldn't it? I kind of talked about that on my Instagram story this morning, because that sparked my thought. But that is the attention, right? That is something that they're going to read and they're going to be like, I do want to know more about that. Yes, yes, yes. Tell me. So that's step one, okay? Step two is the bridge. The bridge is just linking the two, okay? So they're going to say, yes, I do want to hear more about that. So the bridge from the attention to interest is, I ask you this because I have a plan that can keep you in a consistent way of eating. That's just a bridge. It's just a statement. So as you can see, we're having 3 themes here. So let me just come to this chart so I can show you what I'm doing. There's 3 like objections, or 3 issues that people are having. I'm yo-yo dieting, I have no energy, and I only work out 3 times a week. So now we're going to go to the bridge to those 3 scenarios. So this is scenario 1, I'm a yo-yo diet. If you could learn a sustainable way of eating, that's something that you would be interested in, wouldn't it? I ask you this because I have a plan that can keep you in a consistent way of eating. Awesome, that's just the bridge. A superfood shake that gives you all the nutrients that you need that can give you sustained energy. I ask you that because I have a nutrient-dense meal replacement shake that can help you have an overall more productive life. Because it sounds like if they're telling me that they want to wake up early and they're struggling to wake up early, that they need a more productive life, right? But for me, like my main motive for Shakeology is really the nutrients, and it really helps with my cravings. Those are my two main things. But that obviously isn't an issue for this person. So why would I even tell her that the cravings is what's helpful, right? Or the curbing of the cravings is what's helpful about Shakeology. She needs energy. That is definitely something that Shakeology helps with. It's not my main usage of Shakeology, but I want to talk about the main thing that they need in particular. For the workouts, I asked you that because
Macy, can I say something?
Yes, go.
I'm just trying to kind of summarize it, so maybe say it a different way so they can understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
If you think about it, whenever we really don't sell anybody anything. Nobody's going to sell you anything. You're not going to sell anybody anything. But what happens, people buy. And as salespeople, as psychologists, if we understand when people are buying where they are in the buying process, all we do is help them move from one step to the next. As salespeople, we do about 30% of the talking, and we hope our client or prospect will do about 70% of the talking. So we're just kind of like, basically we're using leading questions.
Right.
To get them in. And like the beginning, she was talking about the attention, all those things like smile, compliment, all that. That's attention getting, but it's also rapport building, because people are going to buy from people they like and trust and all that. So you right there in that page, you're really kind of building rapport is what you're doing.
Right.
And then if you go on to the next phase, so let's say you built some rapport, they like you, you got a little relationship going with them, and then you want to start a sales conversation. And that's where she is here. You're trying to get a conversation started. And the conversation, hey, if you could learn a sustainable way of eating, that's something you want to know more about, right? It's just to start the conversation.
Right.
Once they kind of
get their attention.
You got their attention, their rapport, they like you, and you want to start a conversation. So now you've got their attention to move into a conversation. So you're not selling, you're just helping them get to the, okay, tell me more about it kind of thing. That's what this is all about. Then just to say, okay, yeah, tell me more is the purpose. All right, go ahead.
Right, yeah, exactly. Because then when you go to interest, we really the main thing is we want to know their why, right? At the end of the day, we want to know why they need us, because everybody needs us. It might be for a different reason. It might be for energy. It might be for losing weight. It might be for building muscle. But we need to communicate to how this is going to help them for whatever their why is. So then you move into interest, which is just kind of a way of learning more about their why, right? Arouse interest by telling them what the product can do for them. I think what really helped me understand this, my dad and I were practicing, which by the way, the only way you get good at this is by practicing. And it's so hard at first and it's so awkward, but it really helps. And he was acting like he was struggling with his health his wife wanted him to be healthy, to be alive for a long time or something like that. And I kept trying to bring up the at-home workouts, and I kept trying to bring up the possibility of having awesome accountability. And he's like, Macy, he's like, my why is that I want to stay around a long time for my kids. Like, how can we talk about that? How you can be a huge asset to me being able to be healthy for a long period of time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about me. I keep talking about what I want him to know when I need to talk about what he needs in his life, okay? So here, the purple is the bridge. So we have the attention right here. The purple right here is the bridge, and the green is the interest. And right here is really just fact and benefit, right, Dad? It's giving a fact and telling.
And what she's trying to lead to is, whenever you start, like, let's say you're going to write a thesis paper for your English class, you would, somewhere in the introductory paragraph, you would set up a positioning statement. The statement would be, here's what I'm going to talk about. It's a positioning statement.
Right.
And that's what we call, in this case, the interest statement.
Mhm.
And they're supposed to say at the end of that statement, if you can really do that, I want to know, I'm interested.
Right.
So you're trying to get them interested in what you do. Some people in the sales world call it a big fat claim, provided you can back it up. So what you're doing right here, you're telling them what you're going to tell them, and it's going to be great. Now you're going to have to prove it, but it should be so great that they say, yeah, if you can prove that, I'll buy it.
Right.
It's what you're trying to lead to with this statement. You're trying to position yourself to start proving some facts to them.
Right. So they want a sustainable way of eating, and that is something that would interest them. So I have an eating method that will give you stability and energy. In order to see if this works, let me ask you a few questions. That part right here, let me ask you a few questions. That's when you're going to ask them about them. Ask them about, that's why I have all those questions in my application. I want to know what they're currently eating. I want to know what their current exercise routine is. I want to know what they're currently struggling with so that I can come in and say, hey, I get why you're struggling with all of this. So basically, like my application, because all this information really is like to talk about it verbally. So I'm trying to like transform it in the online world. And so for me, my interest is kind of plugged into my application. But the minute someone applies, you still need to have a continuous conversation with them, especially when you're just starting out. And those 1, 2, 3 people are such a huge deal, right? So let me ask you a few questions. That's when I would start to ask them. For the next one, talking about superfoods. I ask you that because I have a nutrient-dense meal replacement shake that can help you have an overall more productive life. It can give you energy and nourish your body. Let's look at the facts. So the reason I say let's look at the facts right here is because I don't need to know anything else about them. Maybe I've already looked at their application and I already know what their issue is, or maybe I know about them personally and I don't really need to ask them any more questions. That's when you just go straight into let's look at the facts. About the at-home workouts. I ask this because I have a tool that will assist you in getting a full week of workouts without interrupting your usual schedule, since you can do them at home. It is convenient and easy to incorporate in your life. In order to see if this works, let me ask you a few questions. Just getting to know them, talking 30% of the time. So now we're getting into facts and benefits. So this is conviction. So this is where we tell them what the product and service does for them, okay? Not what it's done for you, not what it's done for your husband, not what it's done for your family, but what it can do for them based on what questions you ask them in this interest statement right here. So after you made the big fat claim, as Lloyd just said, or you made this interest statement right here, you need to back it up. And this is where you back it up. So this method of eating allows you to eat often. Here's the main key right here. And what that means to you is that you are full and satisfied. That's important to you, Sally, isn't it? So what I'm doing right here is I'm reminding her what it's going to mean to her to purchase this program and to eat this way. Also, something that Lloyd says is the sweetest sound that anybody ever hears is the sound of their own name. So if I'm emailing someone back and forth, I always add their name in the email at least once, sometimes twice, but it's always kind of towards the end. So I will always say something like, and what that means to you is da-da-da-da-da. That's important to you, isn't it, Sally? And she's going to say yes. Going back to the superfood shake. So I have a superfood shake that's going to give you energy, it's going to give you a more productive life, and it's going to nourish your body. Let's look at the facts. It will probably nourish your body, and what that means to you is that you are no longer going to react to a lack of nutrients and exhaustion. That sounds like it'd be a good addition to your life, doesn't it, Sally? Going back to the at-home workout. So I have a tool that's convenient and easy to incorporate in your life. My online workout tool allows you to stream a workout wherever you want. And what that means to you is that you will be able to work out on the days you can't get to the gym. That's important to you, isn't it, Sally? A real life example email. I get a lot of emails that say, hey, I'm weird about shakes, or I've tried it before, or something like basically pushback from me. And every time I use this last sentence, I figure out the roots. Like maybe they just don't understand. They genuinely don't understand what the shakes do. Or maybe they are just like have this bad taste in their mouth about whatever, and they just don't want to do it. The minute I point out what it can do for them and ask them if it's important to them, it is almost, I swear it's like a 99% success rate. It's the craziest thing. And then today I did an email that I didn't feel like I needed to use that last line, and so I didn't use it, and I didn't close the sale. I don't know if it's magic or what, but it works. It's the craziest thing. Dad or Lloyd, do you have any other comments on this?
Now, say again, what did you not use that didn't close the sale?
I didn't use this and what that means to you. I've been using that at the end of like every email.
Okay, this right here, you don't have it in there, but basically this is what she's showing here. This stuff in the I guess what color that is, maroon kind of.
Yeah.
What color? That right there is the workhorse of a professional salesperson. That's the workhorse sequence of a professional salesperson. If you learn that, you'll figure out the attention and interest and all this, but you can learn this right here.
Yes.
You can talk to people very effectively. And what it is, it's a fact, followed by a bridge, followed by a benefit, followed by a nail down. I don't know if y'all really should write that down. Fact, bridge, benefit, nail down. So basically it's facts and benefits. The bridge, the bridge is, and what that means to you, that's a bridge. So if you notice this, the fact is my online workout tool allows you to stream a workout wherever you want. That's a fact. Okay. The bridge is, and what that means to you, and the benefit is you will be able to work out on days that you can't get to the gym. And then the nail down is, now that's important to you, right, Sally? So just look at it as a fact, bridge, benefit, nail down. Every one of these workhorse sequences are exactly the same.
Yep.
And that's the way you talk to prospects with that right there.
Yep. What's in it for me, right?
Well, and here, as a psychologist, she mentioned earlier, which I totally agree with, salespeople or salespeople are enthusiastic psychologists. All we are psychologists. We understand where they are, and we're leading them through the buying process. And what we're doing, we're saying what they're thinking anyway, because when you say something like a feature or a fact, they're thinking, so what? What does that mean to me? That's what they're thinking. And you're just saying it for them. And what that means to you, you're just helping them say what they're thinking anyway.
Right.
So that's what we're doing there.
You're reading
the reason for the nail down is to confirm that they heard and believed and accepted what you just said. Yeah. They may say, well, no, that's not important. Well, if it is, you go somewhere else, talk about a different fact and benefit.
Right.
But if they say, yeah, that's important to me, then you know you're on the right track.
Right. Exactly. So I'm going to send this PowerPoint out, and this is a chart of just everything I just said. But we're going to talk about the specific objections that you girls posted about, that you said, hey, every single time someone says no, it's either because the money, the time, and the fact that it's a beach body. And I have lots of words to say about all of that, and I'm going to talk about that. So whatever, and by the way, you never use the word objection when you're talking to a client. I hope you guys know that. Don't ever say, what's your objection? Don't ever say that. Just, I had to put that out there. But
basically what we say is, what's your reason for hesitating?
Yeah, what's your reason for hesitating? That's right. But whatever their hesitation is, that is what you sell the value of even more. And you only use the benefits of whatever that hesitation is. Okay, so here's the example of the Beachbody hesitation. We know, and I'm so passionate about this, that Beachbody is such a legitimate company. Their programs are incredible. I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you are the fittest person in the world or you are novice. Their stuff is amazing. And the reason that you should use Beachbody, turn their hesitation or their objection back on them and say, gosh, you know what? That's exactly why you should use Beachbody, because it is such a huge company that it can actually fund incredible nutritionists and doctors and trainers and people to make this content. Beachbody has been such a blessing to me because I can do what I love, which is to encourage women, to uplift them, to guide them in personal development, and use Beachbody as a tool, as my leverage to monetize that, essentially. And I think that the most important thing about this is to be upfront about it. Like for me, I am all about curiosity marketing, which basically means I don't necessarily talk about exactly what I do or exactly what I am, because I want people to ask me. It's not because I'm hiding it. It's because I want people to have a conversation with me. But the minute I sit down with somebody, I said, hey, listen, okay, this is my program. I need you to know it's Beachbody. Have you ever heard of it? If they're young, they've not heard of it. If they are like in their upper 20s or 30s, they have, and sometimes they have a negative view of it. For usually, I think it's because they've had a bad experience with the previous coach, or maybe their coach quit on them, or that's been a huge thing. It's like, hey, I started with the coach, but halfway through my coach quit. And I think that it's so important to be super clear, like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm here to stay, right? But to sit there and say, hey, it's Beachbody, have you heard of it? And say, yeah, I've heard of it, I don't really know. And say, hey, listen, you can even say, give me 30 days, and I'm going to show you how amazing it is. I'm going to walk you through everything, how to use it. How to use everything. I'm going to walk you through the benefits of Shakeology, what it's going to do to you, how to eat, the times to eat, and you are going to love it. Remember, it's 90% enthusiasm. If you don't have enthusiasm, they're not going to have enthusiasm. If you're bored with yourself talking about it, they're bored with you, right? Another thing that Lloyd made a great example about using technical terms. I guess he was in a conversation with somebody, like not arguing, but she was trying to sell him something, and he was pushing back. And the minute she started using technical terms, she lost him, but he couldn't fight back with her, so he gave in, right? He just bought it. So this is where it's important to understand the science behind Shakeology, and to understand the science behind time nutrition, and to understand the science of portion control. It's not that you need to talk about it a lot. It's just that something that you need to pull out so that someone can't argue with you. You can't argue with facts, right? And if you start using words like adaptogens and all the prebiotics and the probiotics and the type of nutrients, people are just gonna be like, okay, whatever. Like, you're right. I need that. But this is where product knowledge comes in. This is the 10% of product knowledge. There's not every conversation that you're going to drop technical terms, but it's important to have in your back pocket when necessary. Money objections, okay? I talked about this in my Instagram story today. I've kind of been reviewing this like all day long today, and so it's just been on my heart and in my head. And this is like bothers me so much because I see Americans in general just like drop money on food that they waste because they don't have a meal plan. They drop money at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A salads are legitimately $12. That's like a week of shakes, right? Identify where they are spending their money. Say, hey, how often do you go to Starbucks? Tell me what you get in your Starbucks. Think about the change, just that small change that you make and how that small change can add up over time. Something that I've learned, like, so basically I've been working in like mass numbers right now, especially this round. So I've had to just kind of like send a generic email with some personalized parts in it with like a photo of everything that they get and the price of it. But if I'm speaking to someone, I say, hey, this is what you get. Annual all access to the Netflix of workouts. An entire year, one-time purchase. You get 30 days of Shakeology, the most incredibly nutrient-dense shake you could possibly have. You're getting a pre-workout supplement and a post-workout supplement, the ones that I use. You get bands, you get sliders, you get accountability, you get a coach, you get community, you get personal development for $230. If someone was to list all of those things out to me and then say the price, I'd be like, dang, that's a really good price. Like, I'm in. But if you're leading with the price and then listing out everything that it offers, they're only stuck on, they're trying to justify that $230 without even hearing what you have to offer. I think this is the one that I've been using. I'm like, hey, do you even have a plan when you go to the grocery store? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, no. I'm like, how much food are you throwing away? How many apples are you throwing away because you forgot about them because you've been eating the Oreos instead because they're right beside the apples? They get the apples because they feel guilty and they feel like you need to get something healthy. But when you have a plan and you know, like, okay, I eat a half of an apple, 3 times a week, so I'm going to get, 2 apples. And you know exactly how many you get, and you're not wasting food. When I make that apparent to people, it really helps them, I think. Dad, do you have any thoughts here at all?
Yeah, I was going to say, what you're saying there is really good. Have you guys ever noticed how they do infomercials?
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about the buyer's thinking at some point there's enough value there for them to buy something. When they do infomercials, they'll give you a product for an X amount of dollars, then they'll add another product, so now you get 2 for 1. Then they'll add something else, so you get 3 for 1.
Right.
And the guy that invented infomercials, Kevin Harrington, he learned that. So what he would do, he was doing is trying to sell those things, and they wouldn't sell. So then he started adding value, and they wouldn't sell. Then he would add more value, and finally he'd get to the point where people would buy. There's enough value for them to spend their dollars on whatever it was he was selling. But you got the same thing out here with Shakeology. I think that's a great concept to make sure the client knows there's enough value there for them to justify spending the money. Mm-hmm. And you add that in addition to taking away the bad program that they're already on. So you take away the bad and add enough value, I think you can justify the money. So what you're saying is exactly right, Mason.
Perfect. Okay, then time objection. This is one that I really, really like when I get a time objection because I just turn it right back on them. And I always think about a baby's schedule. Like, I don't know if you guys have kids or if you've ever done Moms on Call, but my sister has a little 1-year-old and has been doing Moms on Call. And I don't know if my mom had a schedule with us. I'm not really sure. I don't feel like she did. But my mom always comments on how, like, she actually has more time when she has a schedule than she would if she didn't have a schedule, because she knows exactly when she's sleeping. And so she knows that from 9 to 11, that is my mom's time or Alex's time or my time to, like, be free if I'm keeping Cambry. And then I know from 11 to 1, that's my time with her. So it's the same exact thing, I think, with time nutrition or with a scheduled routine life. When you know what your days look like and when you know what you're eating, you know when you're eating, and you already have your food prepped and made, you're actually saving so much time. And as I was thinking about this, I've been thinking about it all week long. So this weekend, I've done an Instagram story or an Instagram live about how quickly it took me to prep my food. And then I don't know if you've noticed on my Instagram story, I've been posting me putting my food on my plate in 15 seconds. And an Instagram story is 15 seconds, and I'm showing them how I do that in the time of an Instagram story. And so as you have objections like this, and as you are getting, like, pushback, use that in your social media, because guess what? Everybody else is thinking it. And it doesn't have to be in your face. It can just be subtle, like, hey, look, I just put my food together in 1 minute and 15 seconds. And this is the food I prepped 3 days ago, and it took me 1 hour. How many times are you in the kitchen every single night cooking and cleaning your dinner? Like, honestly, there sounds nothing worse to me than that. So that is a great way to be like, hey, you actually have more time on a plan than you do when you're not on a plan. You're not opening the fridge for 30 minutes trying to decide what you're eating. You know, you do it within 15 minutes. Cook, eat, clean, 15 minutes, done. And then when it comes to any objections, really, this is a good thing that Lois said. I felt like marketing is like generalizing, but sales is finding the specific problem. So whether that is a time commitment, or maybe that's a money commitment, or maybe it's the fact that it's a multi-level marketing, which really it's just a tool that we all use to monetize something that we love to do with the most legit company that you could ever find, in my opinion. And the most important thing is to know enough about the customer to actually identify what the problem is. If you can improve their situation, tell them how you're going to improve their situation and how it benefits them. If you can't improve their situation, if you feel like there's nothing you can do to help this person, they are just fighting. Listen, not everybody is a prospect, and sometimes your time is better spent loving on and uplifting people who actually are interested in your program. Okay, just
Did you mention the multi-level marketing thing just a minute ago?
What?
I was just thinking about, as far as I know, I've never seen Beachbody advertised anywhere.
Oh, really?
I've never seen them advertised.
They were really big on infomercials back in the day, and then now they do like Facebook. Well, really, I mean, I advertise it subtly,
But the point I'm trying to make is, if they use the method of marketing their material, their products through you guys,
right?
Through a chain of people, but they do not blast. You never see them on NFL games, or they don't blast the media advertising. Mm-hmm. And they've got to get their market out one way or the other. And if they didn't use you, they would be spending millions of dollars that way. So the multi-level market is not, they don't really advertise the product.
Right.
Is what I want to say about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point. I think people just see it as other people trying to push bad products on other people and yada, yada, yada. But for me, like, with Instagram, without Instagram, with a business, without a business, I will always be using this product, this program.
One more thing about that. If there's also no other way that they can buy this product except through a coach.
Right. Well, they can't just go online.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But they have to buy from Beachbody, or it's the same price either way.
Yes.
And that's only, so they can't go to the store and buy it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay.
If they go online, they get assigned to a coach.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So yeah, and then I thought that this was a good little line. This didn't really fit anywhere, so I'm just gonna say it. People buy emotionally and justify intellectually. And Lloyd made a great example to me. He was like, Macy, the house that you just bought, you bought that emotionally and you justified it intellectually. And he's totally right. Like, emotionally, I just wanted to get in a different location. I wanted to get closer to my family. I wanted to get in a different neighborhood so bad that emotionally I was like, yes, this is it. I walked away and I thought about it and I had to intellectualize it and process it in my brain to make it make sense. And so it's important to emotionally connect with somebody and say, hey, what is your why? Like, obviously not ask them that, but figure out their deepest desire and connect with that emotionally. They will purchase and justify it later. But they won't need to justify it because they're going to have such a great experience and not know what they did. So that's really all I had. I have some chats up here. I don't know if they're like questions. So here, I guess this is an objection someone has had. I'm talking to a woman mid-40s right now. She says she's the sole meal preparer, knows her eating is bad at times, which causes her so much exhaustion. She wants to be held accountable. I'm so afraid I will say the wrong thing. And she says her husband is picky. Lloyd, do you have anything to say about that? I feel like you will handle that better than I will.
Well, that's a perfect setup. If she wants to be held accountable, then Mary Alice is the perfect one to help hold her accountable. That's what she wants, is somebody to follow up with her to make sure she's doing it, see if everything's okay. And I don't know that you can say the wrong thing. Just want to be there for her, to help hold her, get her started on the program, and keep her in the program, keep her accountable. Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me.
Right.
Can I say something?
Yes.
That's the thing. I don't want to seem, I know this woman for a long time. I'm talking like 20 years. So she sounds like she's so ready. She keeps talking to me. But see, when I started doing this, I didn't care if whoever was picky, because this is about me. So I don't want to go. I'm like, do I tell her, look, why you care? Right. If he's hungry, he can go somewhere else and eat. But I don't want to be mean. Like, what do I say?
Well, maybe you could take the approach of leadership. I mean, leadership is leading the way and being enthusiastic, fired up, excited about something, and leading. Now, she knows that's the better path for her family, but maybe she just needs to lead and consider herself a leader and hope they will follow. That's what Macy done. I followed Macy. Macy started all this. She did this for a few months before I jumped in, but she was showing leadership. And I think Austin maybe has jumped in. A lot of these wives will show leadership and their family will follow them, but she needs to be, I think, over whatever period of time, if she believes in it, stick with it and show the leadership is what I'm thinking.
Is she saying that like her husband is picky and doesn't want to make additional food? Is that what she's meaning when she says that, Mary Alice?
Yeah, I think, okay, so she says that she's been moving in the right direction, reducing preservatives in her food and everything she says, like she says, I like butter. I said, butter's not bad. You can have butter.
Yeah.
I like potatoes. You can have potatoes. But then she says, and she puts it in all caps, she's texting me, that I'm the sole food preparer in my house. And my husband is so picky and it's so stressful for me. Like, she says, tonight we're having spaghetti. She said, I know spaghetti's bad. So do I tell her, well, the noodles, you could change that? She sounds like she's worried.
I think something that you would say is, hey,
those sound like excuses to me. Those are excuses. I mean, she's got to make a decision. Is this important or not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just heard of, I didn't know this happened, but a 60-year-old died of a heart attack. Somebody that I knew, I didn't know. But if it's important, she has to make a decision. Those are excuses. And you remember the objection or the hesitation that we were talking about? Yeah. I think maybe instead of letting her talk about what she wants to talk about, maybe you need to turn it to, try to find what's the real reason, what's really holding you back here. Mm-hmm. You can cook something. I mean, is your husband going to blow up? And, is it bigger than that? Is it bigger than him not willing to eat that? Is he abusive? I mean, what's her real reason for being afraid of this? Mm-hmm. I'd try to get to the root cause, because these are surface excuses that she's making to me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's good. Those are good points. And, there are times that I'm like, hey, I need you to either commit and do this, or let me know when a better time is, because all these are just, because I get so much time excuse. And I always say, hey, everybody's got 24 hours in a day. You can prioritize what's important to you. And I'm going to help you do that. And I think you should say, hey, that's part of this program, is that I'm going to help you prioritize and figure out your schedule. That's what accountability is,
Another thing to try to find out is, Mary Alice, as you're trying to get to the root cause, you might want to try, if she's showing interest that she feels like she needs to do this, you might want to try to find her why. What's her why behind her why, the real reason? It's usually love, fear, greed, it's some of those emotions. There's a why in there somewhere, and maybe try to get deeper if you know her pretty well and find why it's important to her to have a healthy lifestyle. And does she have kids? Maybe her family have a healthy lifestyle and all that.
That's good.
Well, she just sent me a message and said, I want to start the 80 days. Now, I haven't shown her how much it is.
Okay. She said she wants to?
She said, I'm telling you, I'm in. I want to start the 80 days. I just said, you've got to make a decision.
Awesome. Look at you. Awesome. So now you need to walk through what it all includes first. Okay, say, hey, this is what it includes. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And here's the price. I would say just go with the recommended one, rather than giving her the option of the basic. I think she needs to go all in.
She just said, so give me the pitch. What's the money part?
There you go. Okay. If she says it's too much, then I think you can go to the basic and give her that option. But I mean, I always say the recommended is the best.
Now Mary Alice, part of this, remember 90% of effective sales is your belief in the product and the value of the product. So, I mean, what I'm seeing right now is you're saying, oh, I'm afraid of giving her this price. I'm not sure about the price. So you've got to really believe that it's worth what we're charging for it. You know, if you believe it and she sees the belief in your eyes and in your voice, that's what she's really going to believe. So I think you want to be really excited, enthusiastic, and optimistic, and tell me how great it is for the money, you get so much stuff. So you got to believe it strong so she'll believe it.
Yep.
Okay.
Good point. That was such a great example. Does anybody else have any examples? I know Kaylin had a application that she was so excited about. Did you ever reach out to her, Kaylin?
I decided to wait until after this call, so
Okay.
I'm going to reach out to her after. So I did have a question. Do you have like a general email that you kind of send to people who reach out through the application? Because we've literally had no conversation. She just filled out the application.
Yep, I'll send it to you, but definitely make some tweaks. Like, I kind of have one kind of for people, because most people say that they want to do the 30-day program. And really, it's all the same price at the end of the day. I'm teaching the same method that I would teach for the 30, for the 5-day. Like, it's all the same price. It's just as commitment levels. And so the main email I send is like, hey, this is why you need the 80-day, right here. And not everybody's like, you're right, I do need it. And really, it's genuinely a better value, and it's better for them, and it's better for me, because it's just, I can align it better with everybody. It's just better. So I'll send you that email, and then you can tweak it according to kind of like her.
Yeah, what she filled out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I'm going to reach back out to the one she sent me a message. I'm getting a lot from Facebook, actually, because I've really started pushing that. So she sent me a Facebook message, and we were having a conversation going back and forth, and she was saying she needs more motivation, and I started giving her, you know, the information that I would be there to keep her accountable. And then I mentioned Beachbody, and then no response. I was like, okay, so I'm going to follow up with her and just kind of, I think that's where I've noticed I get that occasionally, where they see the cost or they see that it's Beachbody, and then they just don't even respond back. And it's a matter of how to approach it without it being like, oh, hey, like, you know, are you actually interested in it? You know, I don't want to be like pushy. So I feel like tonight helped to have a way to approach it a little better. But
yeah. Do you have any comments on that, Lloyd?
Repeat the question for me there again. I kind of caught part of that and catch all of it.
She said that she'll be in conversation with somebody, and then the minute she mentions Beachbody, she gets no response. And how to follow up.
She gets no. Is this email conversation?
Facebook method.
Facebook conversation.
Yeah. So let's say it's already been done. She's already, like, no one's responding. It's like crickets.
When she mentions Beachbody.
Yeah.
Well, I think you start selling the benefits and the value of Beachbody. Because you got the people, remember, you've got to sell the value of the whole thing. The value is they have a superfood product that you can't get anywhere else. There's nothing to match it anywhere in the marketplace that I know of. And they have top of the notch programs, top to bottom. They have a coach, the accountability situation. I think you have to sell Beachbody. If you're afraid of Beachbody, you need to. It's not the right program for you.
Right.
And I think you guys need to own it and believe in it and sell it, because it is a great product with a great price for the product. Really, and there's no other place they can get this. So they have to believe they want it, and then they got to come to you to get it then. So you got to sell the value of Beachbody.
Yep.
I think.
I agree. Totally agree. Great points. Man, well, you want to be on every call? Everybody's saying yes. They want you on every call.
I'm down for that.
I'll do it as long as you guys want me.
Oh, he's the best. Yeah. So the sales course, this is like the very, very top of it. It's so much more. I'm still trying to learn it and master it, but maybe we can get Lloyd to kind of practice teaching it.
I will, and I will say something else. With all the training, because I do this training, this what you guys are doing right now, this self-development, learning sales, learning product, learning motivation, getting excited about things. I've been doing this right here, what y'all are doing, since I was about 28 years old. And I still do it on a regular basis. I really believe in it. I was getting ready to lead into something there. Oh, and the thing that everybody says is rehearsal. Rehearsal out loud in front of a mirror, mental rehearsal, thinking about the call. And it's just like a shortstop taking ground balls or a ballerina practicing her stuff. If you try to go into sales without rehearsing, you're leaving yourself in a bad position. So take some of your points, some of your facts and benefits, some of the real value that you see in this, and practice saying it to yourself in front of the mirror, because the more you say it, the more you say it with conviction, it will come out in your voice that you really have authority with what you're saying. So rehearse, get your value points that you want to sell, rehearse it, and then use the bridge and benefits, and just practice it, rehearse.
Right.
And it's probably a good idea on this call, if you only have 7 people, basically to have them rehearse in front of you.
Okay.
Maybe next time.
I'm not gonna make Holly do it because she signed up today to be a coach. So.
Okay.
And maybe not Christina because she's like brand new too. But I would love for her to if she's comfortable. Let's start with Mary Alice, because Mary Alice doesn't care. Mary Alice just lives her life. Here, I'm gonna share my screen so we can kind of look at the PowerPoint again. As an example. So here was the example he used down here. What is the sequence again? This is the bridge right here. This is the Loy. Loy. Oh, can you hear me? He's muted.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right, so you state the fact, followed by a bridge, followed by the benefit. Fact, bridge, benefit. And the bridge is always the same thing. The bridge is verbatim, and what that means to you, just say it verbatim every time. And what that means to you, after you get good at that, you can say therefore and benefit to that. You can say all that. But for now, just say what that means to you every time. State a fact, state your bridge, which is in what that means to you, and then state the benefit. And then ask them if they agree with you on the benefit.
All right, do you want me to do an example?
Yeah, just give me a fact and a benefit about something, anything.
Shakeology is artificial sweetener free. And what that means to you is that your digestive system is going to be feeling so good. It's important for you to feel good, isn't it?
That's perfect. There you go.
All right, you want to try, Mary Alice?
Like to say something?
Yeah, state a fact about something.
Okay. I'm talking about the videos.
Okay.
You have a full week of workouts at your fingertips, whenever, wherever. That's important to you, isn't it? Is that right?
Close.
What did I say?
The only thing you did.
You did a good fact, but we didn't have the bridge and what that means to you. I didn't hear you always say what that means.
What does that mean to you? Okay.
Yeah. So state the fact.
Okay. You have a full week of workouts whenever, wherever you want to. Okay. Now I do the bridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what's important to you.
No. Then say, after you just said that, say, and what that means to you. Just say it. And what that means to you.
What's that mean to you?
No, you're telling them what it means to them. So, and what that means to you is
And what that means to you is convenience. So you don't have an interrupted schedule. That's important to you, isn't it?
Right. There you go.
Perfect.
So the bridge, I'm telling them,
What
I know, I see why you're calling it the bridge. See, I have to have, okay, I'm visualizing it now.
It's
putting a bridge
connecting the
together.
two, yeah.
Okay, connecting.
Yeah.
Ah.
You're telling
Now keep in mind, really, now remember, people want to buy from that emotion. They're buying from the benefit. You got to give them a fact, but they're really buying the benefit.
Right. Remember, you're trying to read their mind and tell them what it means to them. You're telling them what they already know.
Well, see, in that scenario, they're not really buying the week's worth of workout. What they're buying is the convenience of the workout.
Convenience, right.
That's what they're really buying. But you got to give them the fact before you can tell them, what they're buying, which is convenience.
Okay, so this lady I'm talking to, she keeps saying the word accountability. I want to be held accountable. And that's important to her, obviously.
Yeah.
All you say is, okay, by following my program, you will be held accountable on a weekly basis or daily or however often you do it. Are you going to have a program that holds her accountable?
Yes.
If she speaks with you?
Yeah.
Right. I would ask her what that means to you is that you'll have the support you need
Yes.
to do the workout. You'll be supported by these group of people, by me and other people that will show you what you need to have to do. So then I would end with, that's important to you, right?
Yeah. And you can, now at the end there, that was perfect what you just did. That was beautiful. At the end, you can change the way you say. You don't always have to say, and that's important to you. You can say something like, and having that type of accountability is really important to you, right? You can say it different ways.
It's like a clincher.
Yeah, that's kind of like it's like the clincher, exactly, to make sure she heard it and agreed with it.
That's like essay writing.
Say, yes.
Sounds like an essay paper.
Like a paper, exactly.
It's like a paper.
That's exactly right.
Clincher.
Do you want to try?
But you know what? We've already got you doing, Mary Alice, right off the bat. Now you're talking in terms of their benefit. See, you don't even know you're doing it. You're trying to do this whole thing, but you're talking in terms of their benefit, which is what this is really all about.
Right.
We're just giving you the sequence to help you to do it.
Yeah, it does help. I do see the value of rehearsing this. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because then it's going to start coming like second nature, and you'll have all these facts and benefits basically memorized.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, like have it, because I'm watching you.
I'm going to start typing up a list of them as I think about them and have just like a running list of facts and benefits. Yeah.
Okay.
Kaylin, do you want to try one?
Sure.
Love it.
Okay, I was thinking about the accountability since that one girl was, her biggest thing was accountability and motivation. So I was just thinking, okay, hold on. I'm trying to think so the fact would be, I will be your personal coach through the entire program. And what that means to you is I will keep you accountable and motivated every single day. That's important to you, isn't it, Sally?
That was perfect except for one word. You know what the word was, Macy? That was perfect except for one word. I instead of you in the benefit part.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, though. That was awesome. Yeah. You know what I'm saying when I say at the end, when you start stating the benefit, instead of saying, I will hold you accountable, you will say, you will be held accountable.
Held accountable. Okay. That makes sense.
Make it about them, not about you.
Yeah. Never. Yeah. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Christina, you can totally say no. She's just in the program. Do you want to try one?
I think this is the first time I'm talking on Zoom.
First time for everything. Welcome.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I'll give it a go. I'll be a sport. Okay. So obviously I'm only in like my second week of the program itself. So I'm trying to really, I'm like naturally falling in love with it. So I'm trying to like, I guess once I have people, like what am I going to naturally want to say about it? So I think the first thing that really was, I mean, just most prevalent to like me and Morgan was the time that we gained and the sanity. As far as like you just had mentioned earlier, like in the grocery store and meal planning and, you know, preparing. I'm not in the kitchen cooking and cleaning every single night. It is like a blessing.
Yeah.
It is like the best thing ever.
Amen.
So I would probably say, let's see, this program, okay, I'll get better at this. This program will provide the freedom of stressing, of planning meals, or preparing your, I guess, you know, if you have children and things, of going to the grocery store without a list in mind. What that means to you is more time to spend with your family, not cooking and cleaning every night. And that's important to you, isn't it, Sally?
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That
It's
is
a great
awesome.
benefit. I mean, great fact and benefit.
Yeah. One thing that Lloyd, not that anybody did this, it's just something that just popped into my head. Whenever I practice with him, he'll like be like stop talking, like just say one thing and then tell me the benefit. Like I tend to like get wordy with things and you lose people. And that's one thing that I've been trying to get better at is just saying, hey, for example, you are going to actually save so much time through meal planning. And what that means to you is da 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 da. So yeah, that was one point that's really helped me because I can get wordy. I feel like
And let me, based on what you said there, you're right, Mason. The reason for that, remember, you and me, none of us are going to sell anybody anything.
right.
But people will buy if they see the benefit and the value. So what we're doing, we're stating little short statements, followed by a benefit, followed by a question, and then get them talking again. So it's really filled with all these little facts and benefits, but we're not doing the talking, they are.
Right.
And we're just kind of leading them along the way is all we're doing.
Right. Exactly.
Now that last case you did, that was really good. I love that fact and everything.
Uh-huh.
You might could have done something like, our program has a solid, consistent meal plan, and what that means to you, you're going to have the convenience of having quick meals and less grocery store shopping.
Yeah.
And spending more time with your family, not in the grocery store, is important to you, right? I mean, that might be a different way of saying it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Man, this was such a good call, don't y'all think? And even for me, like, while yes, I've practiced this and I've learned it and I'm still learning it, just to continue to practice it and hear other people practice it is helpful for me. Like, I don't know, as other people were talking, you were probably trying to like finish it for them in your head, which is still practice to you. So this is good for us just to get on and like think of some facts and benefits for sure. Okay, cool. Well, guys, if y'all have any like specific questions for Loy, you can email them to me or post them in the Facebook group, or obviously me, but any advice that you want to get from him, and then we can kind of come up with a way that he can answer the questions that you have. That's the best part of being my coach. You get Loy too. Yeah. I know, he's the best. Is he not? Isn't that such good stuff?
Yes, I just want to take like a Loy class, sales Loy class.
That's what I'm trying to get him to do. It's like a legit thing he has such a talent in sales. He's got to share it. So this was a good little test run right here. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, you're a sharp group of girls. I'm impressed with you.
Let me tell you, I feel really blessed. I got some good ones. That's for darn sure. And you know what? As we continue to practice this, I'm going to start thinking of facts and benefits of coaching too. I mean, that's important too, to talk about coaching to other people. As I think that's what gets icky about multi-level marketing, but genuinely it's sharing an experience and an opportunity that it's, to me, I'm like, you're crazy to pass it up, or at least to try. But you have to talk about it in a certain way that people can understand and connect with. So we'll talk about that too one day. Okay, cool. I'm going to get this uploaded and sent out to people who missed it. And y'all just let me know if you have any questions and any requests for next meeting. Cool? Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, well, I'll talk to you girls soon. Bye.